So, would you like to welcome?
We're back.
Yeah,
We're back.
we're back again. We said we
Y'all
would
thought
be,
we didn't
and
do
we
this.
are.
Imagine that.
I mean, we're already halfway through our
actually did it.
teas because we were messing around with audio before this.
Oh, I still have a lot. Mine just isn't warm anymore.
Mine's still warm and just halfway through our massive mug.
This time I'm drinking strawberry.
Ooh, very fancy. So we'll do the official intro. Welcome to Have a Cuppa. I don't feel awkward at all saying that.
Hello.
Bonjour, greetings,
Welcome back.
good day, evening, afternoon, whenever you're reading this. Reading it? Listening to it.
Re-
We'll try reading it. I don't know how the audio comes out.
For those who don't know, that's LT. I'm Scarlet.
Yeah.
We're doing a podcast.
Again. We said we'd be back. Here we are. Y'all thought we'd leave, but we haven't.
And we have finally figured out how to put our podcast everywhere that we wanted to put it on.
That is true. We are now actually up on YouTube and Spotify and our website. Look at us. Being all organised. And not at all just kind of stumbling about.
It's fine, it's fine.
Yeah. On this month's podcast, the wonderful February. We are recording this, of course, still in January, so... but it will be posted on February.
Yes.
Our kind of overall topic, our theme, is obviously Valentine's, because that is the...
Romance.
Yes. Bow chicka wow wow.
We're not going to be talking about erotica.
No. I'm afraid we have an ace person in this group. We're going to avoid that subject. What would you like to say what you are drinking?
Oh yeah, I'm drinking a frozen raspberry tea.
A frozen one?
It's not frozen. It's actually like very hot tea. That's just the name of the tea. It's called frozen raspberry.
Okay. We just wanted to confuse
Yes.
you. Who's it by?
It tastes really good. By David's Tea.
Again. You like them,
Yeah.
don't you?
I do.
And I am drinking PG Tips. Same as last time. Because I only drink PG Tips.
Only thing.
That's a lie. I drink other stuff when I'm like other people's places. When I'm at the poorer people's places. Not like I'm rich. I just splash out on tea.
How much is tea over there? How much is PG Tips?
PG Tips is the expensive tea. But it's worth it, in my opinion. It's like, it depends on the size box you get. So I normally go for like the kind of bigger boxes because then I don't have to buy it quite as frequently. But that means I like splash out on like either £3 or £7 sometimes, depends. Sometimes I get it on sale.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can get like a lot cheaper ones. Like the big one around here is Tetley. Or if you want to be like a real cheap ass, you get Thai Fu, and I refuse to drink that. Because that is disgusting. It's not tea. It's someone who drank tea and spat back into a tea bag. That's what that is. But yeah. Anyway. We've actually tried to organise our things and do some research beforehand, so this should be good.
Yeah, we got a lot today. Yeah, second podcast in. I think we'll do pretty good.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to learn to try not to interrupt you every 5 minutes, because I have a terrible habit of doing that. I swear I don't do it on purpose. It's a bad habit of growing up with two brothers that do the same thing to you.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's not just to you, it's to the people listening who are there like, let the woman speak! But yeah, anyway, welcome to the podcast. Grab yourself a mug of whatever poison you so choose to drink. Be that tea,
And have
be
a cup
that
with us.
coffee, be that straight up vodka, be that whatever you need.
Sit down and have a cuppa with us.
Yeah! While we chat about random stuff. And I try my best not to swear. This is the podcast where LT tries to be a nice human being.
I don't know how well it works, but it.
I try, okay? I try.
Yes, you do.
Okay. So, with all of
yeah.
that now done,
First topic.
yeah, we do our usual thing of our writing topics, because we are technically writers. Technically.
Will be published ones in
April!
April.
Wait, what? Oh!
April. We'll be publishing April on Wattpad, and then official
Yes.
publishers somewhere in.
D-
I don't want to spoil
I
it.
know.
I don't want to tell them.
They're like, how dare you? This was something we had in the works.
I'm not gonna tell them.
Essentially,
They
we're working
will-
on potentially doing something really big
Yes.
at the end of this year. But you'll have to
Yeah.
stay in, like, the shadows.
Mm.
I keep saying y'all. I said it once, and now I noticed I said it, and now I'm always saying it, and I don't like it. It's not proper English.
The one from.
A British person should never say y'all, it's weird.
You all.
You all murder her here.
But yeah, first topic is, of course, because it's the
The month of love.
month of love. Yes, thank you. It's about creating romances and relationships and all of that.
Fictional ones, not real ones. We don't know anything about the real version.
We still have no idea how we are loved. It's a mystery. We will never solve it. It's fine.
Never solve it, we'll never talk about it.
Speaking of, I actually ended up cracking to my boyfriend and telling him that we had a podcast. I don't know if he's listened to it. I hope he
I
hasn't.
thought you would.
Because he hasn't brought it up.
I thought it was going to be an agreement that if you don't, I would. I tell her she hasn't listened to it as far as I'm aware. If she is, hi. This is the awkward thing I do in the shadows.
Please don't call it off with me.
Please don't leave me. But yeah, so our first topic is creating romance and relationships, as my beautiful co-writer said. In the form of romance and relationships. This can be any sort of romance and relationships, but in the light of it being Valentine's, which tends to aim more towards the romantic version of the many versions of love. I believe it's Eros, isn't it? The, like, sexual one. Or in my front, not sexual, but still a relationship.
I don't know. I have a post about it on the Instagram.
Yeah.
I would look at it, but I'm lazy.
Yeah. Essentially, we're looking more at, like, the partnership kinds of romance. So yeah. We'll save, like,
How do
the
you
buddy
form a
ones
romance?
for another one.
Yeah, I feel like the buddy ones we can do for a different month.
Yeah, don't know when.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
So let's see, how do you form a romance, huh? How do you form one?
In the great words of Sierra, you smash them together and steal the sticks.
Yeah.
Wise words from a mad woman.
I mean, I know some people really like doing the whole thing of like, oh, these two are gonna get together and it's just gonna be these two. We didn't do that.
Well, this was the thing with ours. As we mentioned last time, it was. It started because we did a roleplay first, so we already
Yes.
had some kind of setup. So with
Yeah.
us, it was kind of like we already kind of got a feeling for like companionship and stuff. We also had it set up before the roleplay even started. That we were there,
In
like
a way, yeah.
they were already kind of paired up, and it felt forced. So that changed, and then obviously it changed again when we started writing it as a novel.
Can I just
Yeah.
can I spoil something? No one's read it yet, but no one's read it yet. But when you do read it, just some tidbit of information. Anyone, if they do, Sierra originally was gonna be with Chester.
Yeah, if we go back to
Yeah.
the original.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't complain if they would now. Those two maniacs will burn the world and laugh, but Chester will probably have, like, some guilt in the background. People are like, what have I done? But yes, it has changed greatly since those days.
Oh, yeah. Even the characters have changed since
Yeah.
then, I feel like.
I mean, if we look at it, originally Chester was supposed to be, like, the villain, and Sierra was a villain,
Yeah.
which was why they paired up.
Mm-hmm.
And we had,
Mm-hmm.
it was Vivian and Raph. They were the, like, original four.
Yeah.
And then if
Yeah.
we look at them now, Vivian is more like a background character type. And it's Raph that stepped forward, and obviously Ginny, who you made, like, on the fly, who's now become a main character.
Listen, we went through, right, while planning the first novel, we went through all the characters that we had for the RP. And we went through it and we're like, okay, which characters we want in the novel, like which characters do this, and that. And at one point, LT stops at one of my characters and just goes, what about this one? And I'm just like, I just stare at the photo and I'm like, bubbly, extroverted, my brain just goes into overdrive. I had nothing planned for her. Other than she was friends with everyone and just knew everything. And I'm like, extroverted, bubbly.
Look at her now. But yeah, anyway, us have come a very long way. Back to the original point of how romances and people pair up. Sometimes they come out of nowhere, like they did with all of us. And sometimes, like, especially when you're, like, writing a romance novel, you already have, like, a very strong idea, like, these two characters are going to be together.
What tends to help with that, I know, is, like, using tropes, like romance tropes, like the enemies to lovers thing.
Always a favorite. Personally.
Or, like, the friends to lovers or whatever there is.
Friends to lovers, co-workers to lovers.
Yeah.
Lovers to haters, back to lovers.
The one thing with that is, like, you gotta make characters that would have chemistry.
That is mainly the thing. It doesn't matter anything about the person itself. They could be, like, perfectly matched to each other or complete opposites. It's all about the chemistry in the end, how they react with each other.
The thing I know about complete opposites, because a lot of people like complete opposite ships and stuff like that. You see it, like, in everywhere. I know in an old show, Voltron, I believe, two people were matched together because they were completely different. There were other reasons, but that was one of the main ones that I saw. And the one thing about those kinds of pairings is you should, like, they should be different, but something should be putting them together. Like, they should have at least one thing in common. Be it motivation or interests or whatever it may be, a cause, something that just they share.
No, it's one of those where, like, to me, you can have any kind of character, but as soon as you feel that chemistry, like, that's a home run. Like, for example, again, back to our book, one of the ships, dare I say it? Well, I guess it comes out in the second, kind of, you can immediately see what's happened. But it's like, Brooke and Tio, they're like their morals and their standards and their personalities, besides their humor, which tends to align. They're supposed to be the opposites, the enemies to whatever they wind up being. We haven't got that far yet. That's a lie. We have got that far, but we're not going to say.
We're not going to get into it here.
We're not sharing that. But it's because, like, I think because theirs was something that we kept from the roleplay when we just did, like, their first meeting, and we were there, like, why do these two have such strong chemistry? Just both of it, literally, with your famous phrase, you just kind of came in and went, so when they gonna... It was one of those where they're like, oh, so you felt it too.
Dude, didn't I say that while we were watching The Witcher? We just
said
watched
it when
The
we've
Witcher
been
and I
watching
just saw.
many things.
Just the Witcher and some chick were in the forest together, and my first reaction was, so what did I get?
Yeah, no, that's like your key phrase. It's beautiful. We need it on a shirt. But yeah, no, so chemistry is like the big way that people pair up. Personalities, I mean,
Yeah.
if you want a healthy relationship, it helps that they have stuff in common. Like, I don't know, they have hobbies that they share, or they have opinions that they share. Like, it's all well and good having people who are complete opposites, but if they are arguing all the time, the chemistry will only take them so
Yes.
far.
Yeah. Because after some point, it just becomes lust.
Yeah, and then you're there like,
then it becomes a reward.
you guys just need to, like, take a chill pill. But yeah. Definitely look for, like, and it is personality. Like, it's mainly the personality as well as the chemistry, obviously.
Yeah.
Those are the two key ingredients when it comes to romance. Like, you can put them in the most romantic setting, it will feel weird as hell if, like, there is no chemistry or their personalities don't align.
I know originally because a lot of people say, you know, make sure your characters have chemistry, and originally when I read that, I was just like, but it's not a visual thing. How would the people know that they have chemistry? And then it's like, through the writing, through the dialogue exchanged, you can kind of tell who sort of will work and who wouldn't, in a way.
I don't know. It's one of the weird things about writing and real life is when it comes to romances, especially, and writing chemistry. It's one of those weird factors which is either there or it's not. Like, you can't always create it.
Yeah.
It's just something where, like, if you've done it right, it'll be there. And I know that's terrible advice when it comes to writing. If you turn around and go, like, I want these two characters to have chemistry, but they don't, you need to look at the characters, like, nothing else. It doesn't matter setting-wise, it doesn't matter background. You need to look at those two characters and go, like, what is it about them and either their current situation, what their current thoughts are, that isn't clicking and enabling that, because it's chemistry. It's confusing. It is a science.
I'm in chemistry. I could probably explain it, but it's fine.
Yeah, feel free to take the floor if that's the case.
No. It's not a science podcast, so. But yeah, no, pairing people up, it's one of those where, like, even if you look at the classic tropes, you can't really guarantee that they would have chemistry at the end of the day.
Well,
that's why we are planters, because we plan, but we also not plan a few things.
Happen as they happen. Because I think, what was it? It was one of the weird ones where we tried to write a scene, like, in the future with two of our characters. It was Dorian and a character that I made up. At the time. And there just didn't seem to be a chemistry between them.
No, in a weird way.
And it just felt like they'd make much better friends. Like, or, like, people that they could chat to if they needed something, but the romance just never really kicked off, and it was a romantic setting, alright? There was chance, but
it was.
They just didn't click.
There were moments where it could happen, but it
just
didn't in a
it just
weird
didn't.
way. Yeah. It was
and
one
I
of
tried
those
completely changing
where...
the character, but it just didn't land. Like, nah, it is one of those where if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it's very hard to force.
Like, I know there are a few pairings and things like that that could have chemistry even though they're not intended to have chemistry. For example, a lot of there are some bromances
they have chemistry, but annoyingly they're straight. Even they turn around in moments and turn around and go, dude, if I wasn't straight, I totally would. Actually, we have that chemistry.
We do. We really
On many
do.
occasions, we turn around and go, if I was a guy, I totally would. Which explains why Chester and Ginny click so well, is because we both established
Yeah.
that Chester is very much my boy and Ginny is very much your girl. But yeah, no, it's, yeah, as we said, it's one of those. Don't force
Yeah.
it. Just don't, because it
Don't.
just makes everything so much harder. And even if you think you've managed it, a lot of your readers will see it's forced, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like trying to force two actual people together. They don't appreciate it. Be
Mm-mm.
nice to them.
Yeah. Even though what we say is smash two blocks together and see if they fit, the see if you
Yeah, see if
they
they
fit
stick.
part
If they
is
don't
very
stick,
important.
leave them.
Yeah. Move on.
Yeah.
Go to another.
Turn around and go,
thing,
I
yeah.
appreciate your stance on this. Clearly it didn't work. I will leave you guys to your lives. Have a good one. But yeah. So actually using that as a good segue to the things to avoid, that would be one of them.
Yeah.
Other things to avoid, I would definitely say, is if you look at a lot of, especially in YA nowadays, or like serious, like how would you pronounce it? It's not erotica necessarily. It's the like really serious kind of sexual romances, the like lustful ones.
Yeah.
There are a lot of pitfalls when it comes to that people just look at and go like, this shouldn't be a good relationship. This shouldn't even be seen as a good relationship. Either the girl is way too like not confident, or like she has a lot of problems she has to sort out
Yeah.
before she's ready to invest herself in a relationship. And there's also guys that just come across as right creeps. But it's kind of because they're
Yeah.
romanticized as the like lead character, you kind of go like, oh, but he's handsome. And that is another factor of society today, is like, if you're handsome you get away with a lot of creepy shit.
Yeah. I think they called it the oh, being beautiful theory, something along those. There's a theory on it where like because you're attractive, people instantly assume you're nice or instantly assume this or that or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more like because you hope for it.
Yeah.
Because if they're nice, or they're like, oh, we can have more in common, we can share, we can do all this. And it's like, it happens a lot in crushes as well, which kind of makes growing up and the whole thing of that in college as well pretty bad, because that's at a point where you're very vulnerable as a person, and you let
Yeah.
people get away with so much crap that. And it tends to be because, like, they're really attractive, or they're really popular, or anything like that. And it's one of those things that they should really start teaching more in schools, is that like you need to focus on what actions actually say about a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is a whole different thing.
But yeah, writing a healthy relationship is just as important as the main plot of your novel. If
Yeah.
you're gonna have a relationship of any kind, not even just romantic relationship, like a family relationship, a sibling, whatever it is.
Yeah, if you want
If it's
if you
not
want it to be
healthy,
seen as good, yeah,
make it healthy. Make it.
yeah.
Yeah. I would say another thing to avoid personally. This is again a personal opinion. Some people love this. Love at first sight.
I wrote a whole
maybe.
article on this.
Maybe don't.
Okay.
Like
One thing I think
the
I'm definitely going to say, just to chip in, is that I will put up the article that I wrote at one point beforehand about
yeah.
love at first sight, or as I call them,
Yeah.
instant romances.
Yeah.
Like, on the rarest occasion, they can work, but on most occasions they do not. But I will post that blog with the article at another point. I don't know when, you'll find out.
Yeah.
It'll be a Saturday at some point in February. So, but anyway, yeah, back to you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there's like the one fun thing about writing romance and reading romance and all that is how they get together, how they end up falling in love, all of that. That is the interesting
It's
part
the
of
journey.
it all, right? Yeah, it literally is the journey. So if they're in love at page like 10 or whatever, I'm just gonna be like, okay, why am I here?
It's kind of
Why do I care?
swipe left or right, and then you're done, and you go, all right, next person.
Yeah, it's
With me, see, this is I agree entirely, and like this is one of the things is I love the journey way more than the destination because half the time when you
mhm,
get there, there's nothing else to go off apart from oh, aren't they cute together? They've solved all their problems.
mhm,
They're now a really happy couple, and you're there like, that's great. Where's my next one?
mhm,
I'm done with
mhm.
them. I don't want to hear about how their life is so great now. Okay, I want to watch something more
Mhm,
interesting. And I get that a lot
mhm.
when I'm watching like TV series or reading books. Is that like the whole friction that they have getting together is the thing that grips me the most. And then as soon as they get together, you're there like, yeah, now what? So, if anything,
Yeah.
keep throwing stuff at it because that's what makes their relationship interesting. Is like how they work through stuff. Yes, Scarlett, holding your hand up.
Thank you. Thank you. On that note, though,
What?
shoot.
What? Shoot them?
Ah. No, 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 no. On that note, don't do the thing that I see like so many novels do, where it's like the first novel is like the ship, right?
Yeah.
The ship get together at the end, and then on the second novel, one half of the ship just vanishes. They're gone for the entire rest of the second book, and I'm like, that's not how that works. You can't just. I liked the first guy. I don't want this new guy. I don't care about
I think
him.
that's how
Can
some.
we go back?
Yeah, I think that might be how some readers see it. Is they're like, well, once that happens a lot actually in like sequels of films as well, where it's
Yeah.
they're like, oh, okay, so the
Yeah.
first ship is done. We now
Yeah.
need to cause a
Yeah.
new problem. Let's have another
Yeah.
person in the mix, and you're there like,
Yeah.
that's not how you cause a problem.
Yeah. Just look at, for example, me and my sister both watched To All the Boys I Loved Before, the second
I
one
saw that.
and
I
the
saw
first
a
one.
review of that.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen the film.
And then and then also the other Netflix film, The Kissing Booth. The Kissing Booth was a Wattpad novel, by the way. They're both based off of novels,
I think
right?
they were done by Wattpad
And
Studios as well.
one of them was. The other one is like a legit novel, like it's
Oh, right.
published. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like the second one, they introduced this like random new guy, and he in The Kissing Booth, the other guy was like off to like Hogwarts. No, wait, Harvard. That's it.
So that's a fan
Harvard.
fiction you read at one point.
The other guy is off at Harvard. Frick, I was about to say it again.
I believe it was
The other
Oxford
guy
or
was-
something, wasn't it?
Yeah, Oxford, Harvard. I think it was Harvard, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
he
America.
was off somewhere. He was off somewhere, and it's like, and then they introduced some new guy, and I'm like, okay, that's not really a problem.
Yeah, if
though.
anything, it's
I've
just a
seen this so
terrible-
many times.
It's a terrible trope because it's there like, oh, there's a new hot guy on the block. All right, that doesn't immediately put your relationship with someone else in jeopardy.
Yeah, but the thing is, the way that they make it so it is in jeopardy is they do the whole thing of what's it called? They make the other guy so much better for the main character. Like they're sweet and they have so much in common. I think I just spit. I'm sorry. They're so sweet. Like,
It's
they
all
have
right,
so
we're
much in
whole
common.
country apart. I won't.
They just like they're the perfect
Yeah.
person or whatever, and you're like, why are you with this one? Just call it off. It's fine. I don't really
if
be
you
with
find
that one.
someone better for you, and then you
Yeah.
start losing that original love for the first person, then it's okay to break up with them and be there like, it's nothing you did. I have found someone that helps me and improves me and is better for me.
Yeah.
And I'd prefer it if you found someone that was better for you. Like, that is a perfectly okay thing to do. There shouldn't be a bad thing about that. It shouldn't be used as, like, a dilemma in a story, because that just makes people think, like, oh, no, 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 no. If you said you love that person, you gotta stay with that person, no matter who else you find. And you're there like, no, relationships end all the time. If you find someone better, that's a good thing. But at the same time, yes, you'll hurt that person. Yes, it's kind of selfish. But at the same time, that's not bad. You're finding someone who will make you happier.
And if anything, if you stay with the other person, it's
You're
like
just causing that friction.
yeah.
I think, yeah, I haven't seen either of those films, but I did see the reviews and they said very much the same thing.
I've seen both of the films. It it
I
was
can't remember
bad.
the guy
was
that
really
reviewed
bad.
it. I feel like I need to shout him out, actually. He does those
I'm
cartoons.
going to
What's he
shout him.
called?
Yeah, Alex.
Uh,
Is it Alex?
to...
Because I know I want to definitely shout out Dylan will not participate, I believe, because he did an amazing video.
Dylan is in trouble, I
watching
think,
those
is
two.
the one you're talking about.
Dylan is in trouble.
Yeah, and the one that I was talking
I wanna
about was
shout him out.
Alex Mayers, yeah.
Yeah,
They're amusing videos. By all means,
yeah.
go watch them.
Both of those guys, awesome videos. Love their
Yeah.
videos. Genuinely go check them out.
They're YouTubers, if so.
Yes, they're YouTubers. I also want to shout out, what's his name? I think he's actually British. Huh, okay. Well, I can't find him, but
If you look up the video, you might be able to. Because that's what I did.
Yeah, no, and now those movies are getting... They're getting a, not a sequel,
Prequel?
another No, like they're having a third part because there's 3 books.
Oh,
so
a sequel.
They're getting a third movie. Yeah, another sequel.
Yeah, it's just another sequel.
Yeah. Cynical Reviews is what I was gonna say. He also did a really good video on at least the kissing booth from what I remember.
But yeah, go check out those videos because they are amusing.
They're great. Love them.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those where that's the thing I do see a lot in, especially it's definitely in film, like appealing to teens and stuff. Is in films they just have these kind of viewpoints that aren't healthy for relationships. It is okay to put yourself first in a sense that it is better for you. I understand that for the other person, they are in love with you, they don't have someone better, but they can find someone better and you're giving them that opportunity, and that is a very healthy and mature thing to do.
Yeah, if anything, like from the films that we discussed, the love interest even learned from the main character, so they will be a better boyfriend or whatever to another girl, wherever they may be.
Well, we have that. We have that in our book. I won't say which character because it will spoil one of the main plots in book 1, at least. You remember the characters? Because remember, they both have different relationships at first until they come back and realize actually we were a good fit.
True. I know before they even get together, they're in like other relationships, and then they're like.
Well, it's the whole thing is they experience a bad relationship and then they experience a good one that they purposefully break up because they know it's better for them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like they each experience 2 relationships, and
they'll probably wind up experiencing more. We've just got a rough idea of 2.
Oh yeah.
We don't know the kind of thing that goes in the middle. We just have like ideas that we're kind of looking at. But
we know they're first and they're last.
Yeah. But it's one of those where I love the fact that we have that, and especially because it's not introducing another person while they're in a relationship. It's they are literally being human. They're finding someone for them and finding people who don't work and people who do but aren't working for them. And like, especially the other thing is it's not just about who they're dating, it's where they are as a person. And that is a huge thing that I love to see in romances and books in general, is the person not just going, oh, this person isn't good for me. It's going, am I good for this person? Like, am I at my best place to be in a relationship? And that is probably one of the most healthiest and maturest things you can ever do when it comes to relationships, is going, am I in a place where I actually should be in a relationship? Or do I need to take some time to kind of help myself first?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. You transitioned greatly into like the next point of like things we love in romances.
Thank you. I didn't even realize. Yeah.
Personally, no, I completely agree with you. That's
definitely like, what is it? It's not self-confidence, but self-confidence is a good thing to see in relationships. It's like self-analyzing, just being self-aware. That was it. Self-aware.
Yeah.
being self-aware is very good when it comes to romances and relationships, because
Yeah.
it's not just them, it is you. It is a duo situation. But yeah, I just love seeing it when like characters turn around and go like, I shouldn't be in this relationship, or I can be in this relationship because I am at that situation. It's good.
Yeah. Also, things I love in relationships, even though I'm gonna regret saying this, I love the slow burn. I love
Yes.
it. We have a lot of that.
It's the kind of, again, it's giving you more to appreciate. It's the journey.
Yeah.
The longer the journey,
Yeah.
if it's a really good ship, you're just there like, take your time, guys. I am enjoying this.
If it is an even longer journey and like they reach the destination and they still have to struggle even after it, like
Yeah.
for example, can I just say Amy and Jake from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like even after they got together, they had stuff that they needed to get through, and I'm like, yes. And you're still I'm still invested in that ship. I'm usually like,
Dude,
bored
I'm
by
annoyed
the
that I
end
couldn't
of
get
it.
the next fucking season up. Because it was like, a lot of times you see like, as soon as they have the wedding and they're married, that's it. But like, it's
Yeah.
not just about that. Like, that isn't the end
No.
goal. There is way
No.
more in life. And even then, it's not like about raising the whole like, oh, should we have a kid? That's always the next one after you're married. No, there are other things. There's like family. There's, again, personal kind of things. I think one of the ships that I definitely absolutely love is, you'll know this because I've been ranting about it recently, is the Parks and Recreation one between Ben and
Yeah.
Leslie.
Yeah.
Also because Ben's actor is amazing. But that kind of like relationship where it started off with the really kind of intriguing thing was like, will they get together or will they not, and like put other things ahead of each other, and either way it would have been an okay kind of way to go. And I'm glad, I won't spoil it, but I'm happy with the way things went. But yeah, and it's just, they constantly deal with different situations that don't just relate to a relationship, it relates to them. It's situations that would come up in real life that you then have to put into perspective with everything else. For example, the kind of the trope where like the career comes up and it's like, do you pursue the career or do you pursue the relationship? And I absolutely love those kinds of situations where it's not about like, oh, you're a terrible person if you break up with them just to follow your career. Because at the same time, who says you have to break up? You can at least try. That's always a viable option. And again, it comes back to Parks and Rec because they do that beautifully. So definitely go watch that series. It's amazing.
I also
Tom can burn
about
in
the
a
whole
vampire, but apart from that, carry on.
On that note, there's a ship in a show that I just recently finished. It's a Canadian show. I don't know how many people will be able to watch it, but it's called, this isn't a swear word, by the way. It's called Schitt's Creek.
Cool.
It's literally called Schitt's Creek.
I think it's named
not a
after
swear,
the
that's the
term
name.
going up Schitt's Creek.
No. Like, the place where it takes place is called Schitt's Creek. Yeah. It's a comedy, obviously. And one of the ships, one part has to see if they want to focus on their career or not, and they try and make it work, but at the end of the day they just couldn't make it work, and they end up splitting up. And originally I was so pissed at that, but like looking back I'm like, no, like that's fair.
Yeah.
At the end of the day it makes sense.
It's how things are in relationships when things end for other reasons that aren't the person was an asshole.
Yeah,
Like,
the person cheated or whatever.
yeah, those are like the easiest ways to get out of a relationship because then you feel more empowered for the person who calls it off. Unless it's the person who cheated, in which case that's just a double dick move. At the same time, it's better for the good person. But when it comes to relationships where the reason they break up is for other situations where no one's at fault, it's a lot harder to take, but at the same time, you come back to it later and go, actually, I'm glad they did that because it works out better for them. But yeah, I definitely like that because, again, it's better in a way if you read it and you learn from it. It's better in that sense. It's not
Yeah.
glorifying the idea of like putting yourself first and saying screw you to anyone. It's more
Yeah,
going
yeah.
like, where am I at? What do I want more? What
Mm-hmm.
what will do me better in the future?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And to each, it's different.
yeah,
Mm.
but no, it's definitely don't glorify bad things, and definitely when it comes to good things, understand that it's about putting things in perspective and going,
Yeah.
yes, this will hurt, but in the future, I will do better for it.
I also want to add on a complete, like, I'm just doing a complete 180,
You're good at
and yeah, thank
that.
you. Because we talked a lot about chemistry between characters, and all of the ships that we talked about
Mm.
have like a lot of chemistry. Um, a ship that I found that had absolutely no chemistry and was extremely forced, like just the entire time, was the main ship in Ember in the Ashes. I don't quite remember the characters' names, but they were forced to be together because they were the protagonists at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They had, yeah, it was the classic love at first sight. So yeah, Leia and Elias. Yeah, it was love at first
Why that
sight.
name?
Leia and Elias, they're
Elias or Elias?
Elias.
Elias.
Oh, Elias then.
Well, that's how I'd say it.
Like, either way, they get together because they're the main characters, even though they each had someone that was interested in them, that had so much more chemistry with them, and was so much more interesting and in-depth and explored. But they ended up together because the author said they were getting together. Yeah.
It's the protagonist syndrome. Is they're like, no, just because they are both protagonists does not mean that they have to be together.
Yeah.
When,
So that's
when
my
you hate
take
that
on.
in like, if it turns out you're a protagonist in your own story, and you are in a way, but like something big comes up and then you find out, oh, you've got to work alongside this other person, and then suddenly everyone's there like, so when are you two getting together? And you're there like, I'm sorry, what? I mean, I know I work with this guy an awful lot and I save the world alongside him, but at the same time, have you met him? He's an ass. Or even, he's not an ass, he's great, but I only see him as a friend. And everyone's there like, oh yeah, sure you do, but what's the secret? And they're like, no, I literally only see them as a friend.
That just reminds me of the ship that we, well, a ship that we have.
Many.
See, that's the thing, right? Another kind of like obstacle in a relationship of like, am I good enough for you in this? Like, are you sure?
It's more about consideration. And I think that is the thing that is great when it comes to relationships, is thinking about it. Yes, emotions and relationships are all about love, it's all about the heart, it's all about doing things spontaneously for the one you love. But at the same time, it is a commitment. Think it through. And definitely when, at least in my opinion, when it comes to romances, I love the ones where it makes sense. It is logical.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the character has definitely put thought into it. And they're like, it's not just, I love you, so I'm going to do anything for you. It's, I love you, and I want to do anything for you. But at the same time, I've also come to realize I need to do stuff for you. Because I want that. And, like, that's a weird way of putting it. It's not do stuff for you, but, like, essentially, I want to be with you because I want that. It's good for me. It helps me. It's about me. And, yeah, that's me, really. Romance, in a sense, is selfish as much as it is selfless. And
Yeah.
that is a beautiful quote to end it.
That sucks because I was about to say, my favorite thing is whenever the ship like balances each other out and they teach each other.
Yeah.
On that note.
No, that again, that's another good point.
On that note, we're gonna go on to our game.
Okay. So this game I have made up. It's called Telephone Prompter Game. It is a writing game. And what we are going to do is this is going to require a lot of editing on my front when it comes to doing this podcast. But essentially, what we are going to do is write a line of dialogue like you've just picked up the phone. So we're going to write down, you've just picked up the phone and we write down what has been said. Okay. Then we're going to exchange that and you've got to reply to what has just been said. Okay, you can pick any sort of character, any sort of situation to reply to that prompt, but you've got to reply to that. And then we switch back and we can either do the long version of the game, which is we keep going until the conversation ends, or we do the short version, which I've come up with, which is better for us on this timed podcast, where essentially we have like, I don't know, maybe a minute to reply to whatever's been said, and then we switch back, a minute to reply, switch back, type situation. Okay, so an example would be, I write down, hi, have you been involved in a car accident? If so, we have your car.
Okay.
I would then give you that. So this would be the first time you read that. You would then have a minute to reply to that.
Okay.
And what you can do is you can either give yourself a character to reply to it as, or you can just wing it off the bat and kind of say something random. Like, you have my car, I have a car, someone's got a car. Where is this free car? Are we getting free cars now?
Okay.
And then essentially you send that back to me and I've got to reply to that. And I can, again, keep to the character or whatever. Essentially, it's coming up with a random phone conversation.
Okay. Okay.
What I will say is keep to the theme of this one. So, like, maybe do a romancy themed.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You ready?
Sure. Who's starting?
Okay. Okay, I will start first and we are going to message the prompt to each other.
Alright. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that.
You happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so what we will do is we will send them at the same time. You've got to reply to mine. I've got to reply to yours. We don't say what we've written.
Okay.
We will keep doing this, say 3 times. Should we do it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what we'll do is, once we come to the end, we'll read out the conversations. And we can read out our parts if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, the other thing is I'll cut out the time that it takes us to, like, write, because obviously that's just quiet.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Go.
And that's time.
we go. Okay. Okay,
Got it.
so we've done it. We haven't read the last response, yeah? Say that the thing. Okay, so we gave ourselves 3 replies.
Yep.
Before we had to cut the conversation somehow. Okay, so which one do we want to do? Do we want to do your prompt first or mine?
We'll do yours.
Okay, so I'll speak as the character I came up with. And you'll do yours. So this is telephone prompter. Feel free to play this on your own time. This is the response of it.
Yep.
Okay, so ring, ring, ring. Hello, Casey, that you? Oh my god, it's been so long. I've been trying to reach you. Okay, I'm gonna come right out and say it. I slept with your mother. We're getting married in 2 weeks. Help!
You what? Dude! How is that? Dude! Which one I'm adopted?
Doesn't matter which one. The blonde one, I think. I don't know, I've never met your other mother. But the point is, I can't marry her. I have commitment issues, you know this. Oh god.
Yeah, I know, man. You can't commit to a single pizza topping. Okay. I'll do the research. How hard you have to hit someone for them to pass out?
There are so many though. Also, dude, I'm a player, not a woman abuser. Just, I don't know, tell her I'm sick, or I'm gonna die, or tell her I can't have kids. Shit, here she comes. End call.
That's really good. That's really good.
Fun though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we do your one now?
Yeah. Hey, honey, listen. I know the baby's coming soon. Do you think he'll like McDonald's? If he's my son, he'd better. I also have a blender.
Jeffrey, I told you before I'm not pregnant. And even if I was, of course he would like McDonald's. I've told you 100 times before they put mind control chemicals in their food.
mind control chemicals? Do they control the cows? It says 100% beef on this thing.
Do they say that? Or is it the mind control drugs making you think they say that, huh? Answer that! Also, why do you think I was pregnant? Are you calling me fat?
Honey, I'm gonna come right out and tell you this now. I forgot my glasses at home. I'm in a farm in the middle of Texas. Come get me, I'll send you the address. You told me to end it, so I did.
Now I'm just like, what does that even mean? Like, did he try and go to the cows to find out?
The way
he
that
never answered the question.
He didn't. I think he either tried to avoid it or God knows what else.
It was the mind control drugs.
Mm.
Okay, so that was the game.
That was the game.
It's great for coming up with like writing prompts if you want to start a book. So if anyone comes up with any kind of scene from that, please send it to us. I want to see that. Okay, but yeah, that was a telephone prompt.
And now we're going on to the news. Hell yeah, baby. The first
We really
news.
need to get that at some point. Just
We
have
do.
like a cool intro.
We do. The first news goes to you,
Does
because
it?
I don't know anything on this one.
Yes, it was an update on the School for Good and Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Considering in the last podcast I mentioned that it was being made into a Netflix film.
Yeah.
Still can't tell if it's a film or a TV series. I think it's a film. But I have done some research this time round, and I know a little bit more about it. On a main point, we actually have leads that have been cast.
Oh, damn.
I don't know if you'd know any of them. I only knew one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But we have, if I can find my notes. So you don't know the two characters, but you have Sophie and Agatha.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
And essentially, I believe Sophie, they cast Sophia Ann Crusoe. She was the main lead in, well, besides Beetlejuice, in the musical Beetlejuice.
Oh, okay.
But she is a belter, is beautiful, she's great, a great actress. I fully support that role, and also, I think she'd do great. I can't remember if I ever saw in like the news or something happened, but I didn't look too much into that, because as far as I'm aware, what I've seen of her actual acting, she is pretty damn cool.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm fully on board with that one. The other one was Sophia Wiley. She's a Disney star, I think. Can't really say much about that, because the only two things I could find that she's been in is like two Disney channels that I have never heard of, apart from the new Disney High School Musical thing, and I've never even bothered looking at that.
Yeah. My sister might know her, yeah.
Yeah, but essentially she's in those two. I tried finding some kind of performance from her, and anything I got was kind of lackluster. She's an actress. No offense to her, I'm sure she's absolutely lovely, and anyone who has seen some of the things she's in probably love her or whatever. All I'm saying is, she's cast as Agatha. I'm not sure where I sit on this. I don't want to come across as the wrong kind of person, and people will immediately go like, oh, you're just saying that because of this and that, and yeah. I'm not. I'm just, as an actor, I don't know how good she is, because I haven't seen that much besides Disney. Disney is a very risky one to get actors from, because half of them are kids that probably need a bit more acting lessons. But yeah, I just sit on the fence of that. I'm not sure if you've heard of either of those two.
No.
Yeah, the other one is, it is being directed by Paul Feig, I think that's how you say his name. For those of you who don't know that name, I certainly don't. He is the same person who produced Last Christmas. Amazing film, very good. I went to see it in the cinema alone. It was a great trip. There was also, he was the executive producer of the Ghostbusters 2016 version, which again puts me back on the fence. Last Christmas, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The newer Ghostbusters. He was also the executive producer of Bridesmaids, though, and I know that a lot of people like that show.
Right. Yeah, no, that was pretty okay. Well, two goods. I'm okay.
Well, a lot of people like Bridesmaids, but me personally, this is an unpopular point, but I don't like Bridesmaids. But I blame that mostly on the fact that a lot of it was incredibly sexualized and toilet humor, and I don't go on those two. The other one was he was a co-executive producer of the Office TV series, the American one as well,
okay.
which I agree is slightly better than the British one. But
I digress.
yes, so he's got like, it's kind of a mixed bag for me, and they're like, he sounds like he could be pretty dang good. I'm more on the fence about the casting for Agatha. To me, it looks like it will go very 50-50. It depends how they do it. But yeah, that was that pretty much. That's the update. Yeah, what's the next topic?
Next one is.
Should we go on to your one instead? Because I've already gone to one of yours.
Yeah, okay. On a lighter-ish note, if you've read the book, then it's not a lighter-ish note, but George Orwell's 1984 is topping Amazon's bestseller chart. So.
Which is a good thing, actually, because Orwell is a great writer. So, do you want to talk more about it?
I mean, yeah, there's, on the article itself, it talked a bit about, funnily enough, it talked a bit about Donald Trump. Go figure.
Wasn't it his son that...
Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. Donald J. Trump Jr. Tweeted to Jennifer Jacobs, who said Twitter permanently suspended the real Donald Trump account.
Do you think it was just Donald Trump using his son's account?
I have no idea. But it says, and I quote, "We are living Orwell's 1984. Free speech no longer exists in America. It died with big tech, and what's left is only there for a chosen few. This is absolutely insane." I'm not gonna speak on that.
I think we were talking about this earlier, and as I brought up, it's the huge irony of the fact that he's mentioning George Orwell's 1984 after, I know you said you started reading
Animal
the
Farm.
other book, which is Animal Farm, and I have recently just blasted through an audio book of it. For those who don't know, it is, I can't tell if it's currently still on the sale, but there is the Orwell Collection, which is read by Stephen Fry, which is currently on Audible. Highly recommend. It's a very good reading. But on the other sense, I have basically just gone through the Animal Farm one and hearing Donald Trump's son come out mentioning 1984 just brings me to the kind of the irony that it's basically both of them together, Animal Farm and 1984, speaking about today. They've both aged super well.
Honestly, a definite recommended reading.
Yes. I haven't done 1984 yet, but I'll do that one next.
I know the story of 1984 through people who've read it, because they've like told me the whole story like in linear fashion, and I'm like, so I know roughly the story of it. And I genuinely recommend it. It sounds like a good book. Not for people who are squirmish, though. Don't read it if you're squirmish. There is a scene that will make you vomit. So.
Now slightly cautious about that. Animal Farm, however, as far as I'm aware, there isn't any squirmish scenes. You're good to go. But yeah, I can't talk too much about it because Scarlet has asked me not to spoil it for her.
Please don't spoil it.
But definitely give Animal Farm a read because it, as I said, it's aged beautifully compared to like a lot of people. Like before I'd read it, or at least had it read to me, I kind of thought it was like this huge propaganda type thing because I know that a lot of people were saying like it's very into like how it's like communism and stuff and like the whole diplomatic politics type situation. and I was kind of worried like it would be very heavily kind of obvious,
Mm-hmm.
and it is obvious, but it's not in a bad way. It's like
Yeah.
it's more about seeing how people uh like
Mm-hmm.
approach different situations when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to the whole
Mm-hmm.
government situation
Mm-hmm.
and who's in charge and how things work and all of that.
Yeah.
And it's very well written in a sense that looking at it even today, we can still see elements of it in today's society.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say which country, but there are many.
The thing on the obviousness, because I've read a little bit of it, is like there are parts that are very obvious, and then there are parts that you get
Yeah.
like a couple of weeks later when you're thinking about it, and you're like, oh my god, I didn't even connect that. So it's a well written book. I totally recommend it. Next topic, do you want to take it? Or should I? Last two topics. The first one is a very quick mention. 22-year-old. I cannot speak today. Jesus Christ. 22-year-old poet and author Amanda Gorman to read at Biden's inauguration. Yeah.
Inauguration, but yeah.
Inauguration?
Yes. AU is an all. Like Lauren.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, no, she was apparently recommended by Joe Biden. She graduated from Harvard in 2020, so good job on that. Congrats on that.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, she has a book out, like a child book called Change Sings, and it's from ages 4 to 8. I don't know if it's a poetry book or not. But she also won the National Youth Poet Award in 2017. So yeah, she's doing great for herself.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have someone like young, kind of up on the doing their thing. So props to Amanda Gorman for writing a poem that is now going to be at an inauguration,
Yeah.
and props to Bryden for letting her. We all know that probably wouldn't have happened at Trump's. But we're not going into that. But yeah, props to them.
Yeah, well,
Good on ya.
we don't have the poem to react to or anything like that because, again, we're recording this in January, and this is happening on January 20th, I believe. But follow us on Twitter. Huh?
Yeah, and as you said, Karen.
Follow us on Twitter, and we will update you guys our opinions when that comes out on there. Yeah.
If we remember to.
Hopefully we'll remember to.
Yeah. Should we raise a mug?
Raise a
Raise
mug.
a mug.
Raise a mug to her.
Cheers
Cheers.
to you, Amanda.
Cheers.
I've almost finished my tea.
Yeah, no, same. And then
Although it's cold.
the very last topic we have for today, and the reason
We
that
both got really invested in
we
this.
got so invested into this, and we don't know why. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, is writing a historical romance novel called
I think. Wait.
called Heart for a Compass.
Yeah, Her Heart for a Compass.
Yeah. Weird that this article has like two different titles, but you know.
Yeah. Again, I was gonna say that was the title, but then I was there like, is it? I don't know. I just speculated it was.
There's literally in this article that I found they spell it like one is with her, one is without her, so I don't know which one it is, but she's writing one.
But yeah, I found that interesting. That's an interesting thing to mention. There's two things I noticed. She seems to take like Shakespearean kind of influences, because if you think about it, Her Heart for a Compass is kind of like My Kingdom for a Horse, which is obviously Richard III.
Oh, well, yeah.
And also the name of the character was it Lady Margaret Montague Douglas Scott?
Yeah.
And obviously Montague is
Montague.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
I just found that really interesting. But the other thing that I found out about it, looking further into this, because as I said, well, Scarlet brought it up. She brought it to the table.
I
I was like,
did.
who is this woman?
I did. Can I just say, for anyone who wants to read this, I am like on the article right now and like on her Instagram. By the way, check the video, the promotional video for it out on
Yes.
Instagram. It is the cutest thing you've ever seen. It's adorable. Honestly, totally would recommend.
I think that was one of the things, is that like I kind of weirdly root for her because well, okay, so this is terrible for me as a person who is almost stereotypically British.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not know anything about her, and I don't really invest that much in our own politics, and especially in our monarchy. I know
Mm.
about the Queen, I know about William and Kate and Henry and the other one. But that's about it. Um, but yeah, Sarah Ferguson, or Fergie as she apparently likes to be called, is Duchess of York, and her ex-husband was Prince Andrew. I
Yeah.
do recall hearing a lot about him on news shows that I do watch, which are all comedy news shows. The Last Leg and what was his name?
Russell Howard.
That one.
Yeah.
Good News and stuff. Prince Andrew is an asshole. I am glad he is now an ex. Because this woman is too good. She's adorable. But yeah, for those of you who don't know British politics, as I don't, Prince Andrew was friends with Epstein, who was a convicted sex offender. He also had allegations made at himself, which was the whole sex with someone who was underage. And because of that, he wound up stepping down from most royal duties. Don't know where that's at nowadays. Again, I do not keep up with our own monarchy. But yeah, she is the ex-wife of Prince Andrew. But she is awesome. She was apparently close friends with Diana. There was a rift. Please look into it. It is really interesting stuff. She is a really interesting person.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's writing a book that is apparently about her ancestors as well.
Yeah, about
like she's done her own research.
Great aunt, yeah. She before that she has also written a few children's books that have gone up. I think what was one?
So
of
this
them?
isn't technically her first writing gig.
No.
But it is her first historical one, I think.
Yeah, it's her first historical one.
romance.
Yeah, she also has a YouTube channel.
Mm.
Which has reoccurring children's storytime specials, which that sounds absolutely adorable. I'm not gonna lie.
She sounds like someone's really sweet, like, enthusiastic aunt.
She does.
And if you watch that video, it comes across as that, because
it
obviously,
does.
like, you can hear the wind in the background, and it's not like a kind of thing that's been added in. It's like one of those home movies type situations where it's just someone's picked up a camera and gone, alright, you walk towards me and look like really fancy. And I think it was the point where she just goes, I'm so excited, and you're just there like, yeah, you be excited, woman.
And for this, I do want to read the caption for the Instagram post because she goes into a little bit more detail, and like if anyone's interested, they can pick it up.
It's interesting to look into.
Yeah. Honestly, genuinely recommend looking into this woman. She's done some things.
Yeah.
I'm delighted to announce my first historical romance novel, Her Heart for a Compass. Her Heart for a Compass, which will be published in August of this year.
Can I just chip in?
Yeah.
For a second, then I thought you said Her Heart for a Cup of Tea, and I was so like, yeah. That's if for anyone who doesn't know, that's my historical romance.
Set in the 19th century, this is a coming-of-age story about being brave and rebellious and daring to follow your heart against the odds. Yeah.
It's a classic kind of historical romance.
Yeah. The story itself is based on one of my ancestors, and I've spent the last couple of years doing my own research into my family history with the help of the Royal Archives. As a result, the book is rich in detail of the Victorian era and draws on my own life, journey, and experiences too, so it is a story very close to my own heart.
Nice.
I do hope you love Her Heart for a Compass, co-written by...
Marguerite K, I believe it is.
Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. As much as I do, it will be published in hardcover by Mills and Bunuk in the UK and William Morrow Books in the United States in August 2020, and it is available to pre-order now. If you live in the UK, you can pre-order. Link in bio. So,
yeah.
LT, if you
I
want to...
might do that, I don't know. Should we read it together?
Yes!
Have a reading sesh.
Hells yeah!
Tune in with us on our new YouTube channel where we have a bit of a reading sesh.
We'll read this novel. We'll purchase it. I hope I can get it on ebook. I want to get it on ebook. I don't want to spend money to get it shipped.
Well, yeah, no, I could get like a pre-order, and we can have a good bash at that. Have
Oh, hells yeah. We'll bash it, we'll enjoy it, we'll
I don't mean bash in a bad way.
Yeah, we'll have fun with it, let's call it that. We'll do free promotion.
We'll support her. She seems awesome.
Yeah, no,
She's-
good
yeah.
on her, you know?
Yeah,
She did it.
do you? It's like an aunt I never had, even though I have many.
So yeah, check out that, because...
I was going to bring up the co-writer. So
Mhm.
as much as I said this isn't her first gig writing, she's not the only one writing it. She is writing it alongside, as we said, Marguerite Kay, who is actually another historical romance novelist.
Yes.
She has written many.
Oh yeah.
We took a quick look at the kind of names she's written. We don't recognize any of them,
No.
but they do look like the classic kind of
Yeah.
historical romance thing.
Yeah.
In Goodreads, we noticed like 3 to 4 stars across the board.
Yeah, around there.
So it seems like one of your classic kind of historical romance, they're everywhere type books that you will find literally goddamn everywhere.
Can we just like also add the fact that neither of us are historical? Like we don't read that. We don't read historical romance.
Don't get me wrong, I will enjoy a good historical romance, but like I don't really read the romance exclusive type books.
Yeah.
I like historical ones with like something else with them.
Yeah, I read one historical fiction novel and I barely got through it. That's because the main character sucked, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. But no, we'll have a look. We'll have a look.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
But yeah, another raising back to Sarah Ferguson. Good on you, Dutchie. Alright? Good on you. No idea who you were before today, but glad to know you now.
Cheers.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah, now we'll start bringing it to a close because we've talked quite a bit.
that concludes the news. We're gonna wrap it up real quick.
Do our usual 3. A book we would read and a book we would avoid at all cost. Scarlett,
Yes.
would you like to go first?
Book I would totally read and recommend. I'm gonna do something different. A book I'd recommend, Six of Crows. I've already read it. I read it during the initial quarantine. Great book. Totally
I've been
would
meaning to
recommend it.
read it.
I probably won't read the second book because I, for some reason, have started to hate anything that is a series, but totally would recommend the first one. Amazing. I am gonna start.
I'll let you know how the second book goes when I get around to reading the first.
I've recently gotten the audiobook for Warcrossed by Mary Lou, I believe, and hopefully that's good. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it by the time we record the next podcast. And a book I would avoid at all costs, The Air. You thought I was going to say After, but no. The Air...
But that is another one.
that is another one. That is another one. Do not read it. I've read the Wattpad version. I'm not going to purchase the damn book. Don't ask me to purchase it, but no.
Wait, so you've read the Wattpad one. Is he actually British?
Yeah. He is based off of Harry Styles, the singer. It's a Harry Styles fan fiction. It's
As
on
a British
Wattpad.
person, as a British person, I take offense. I have seen clips of it. No.
I don't know. I think the actual actor might be British. I don't really remember.
I hope the actual actor is like pretty decent.
As like a
It's
human
like the
being,
Robert Pattinson situation where the
Yeah.
character they played was an ass,
Yeah.
but at the same time, the actual person's pretty cool.
But yeah,
I
no.
am sorry, Robert Pattinson, for calling you shovel face for many situations. But at the same time, it was said in a review. I can't remember. I think it was on his trailers or something.
Yeah.
And it stuck. I'm sorry.
So yeah, no, The Air by Kiara Cass. I loved the selection series. It was beautiful, but The Air just main character sucked. It didn't have the same spark. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
It was bad. But yeah, no, on to you. What would you...
A book I would read is Animal Farm.
Yeah.
I would happily read that again. I have actually considered listening to the audiobook again. But yeah, it's definitely a book that tackles a lot of issues that literally anyone can understand and see just by looking at the news. And it definitely brings a light to a lot of issues today. And as I said, it's aged beautifully because obviously it's something that doesn't go away apparently. And it's interesting to bring the light to the thing of like, we could solve a lot of our problems if we actually managed to band together.
Yeah.
Which, as humans, we find very hard to do. But not just banding together, but also realizing when someone's manipulating you, which isn't so easy to do. And I will definitely say that. It's a great read. It brings a lot of interesting topics together. So definitely read that. Obviously, George Orwell is a classic writer, so I'm not the only one who recommends it. Many, many, many people do. Definitely read it.
Yeah.
Also, it's not as crazy as you think. It's actually quite a manageable read, and it's quite short too. A book I would avoid at all costs. I mentioned this in the last podcast. This is the one that you have been waiting to find out. It is a book called Frozen. No, it is not based off the beautiful Anna Elsa story that I still don't really like, but oh well. That's another rant for another situation. It is a book called Frozen, but it is written by the co-writers Melissa Delacruz and Michael Johnston. And I absolutely bloody annoyed by it because my lovely father bought it for me as a Christmas present, and it was absolute shite. The story was pointless and rushed and so cliche it hurt. I wound up skim reading the end. Problems that came up were solved in 5 seconds. The characters were so gosh darn bland, and at the same time their relationship was a love at first sight situation. It was blatantly obvious from the start. Everything felt so fake and so boring, and my goodness, I say don't read it, but at the same time read it for the sake of it is terrible and it is great to rant at.
If you want to see what not to do in a romance, read it. Read it. That's the only one you have to read.
You want to know the worst kind of book, please read it. At least the worst kind of book to write for someone like me if we don't like it. But yeah, I could quote so many moments in that book that would just
we have
they just make you groan.
We're going to hopefully also join BookTube eventually at some point. So if you want to see a rant from LT, that's what that's going to be. We're probably going to go into ranting about books eventually at some point. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah.
That's one I would avoid at all costs. If you wanted a book that I would recommend that is a romance book, I would recommend Heartless. I did it as a Sunday suggestion.
Yeah.
I still suggest it now.
would
It
too.
is a book that made me cry. It is beautiful, and I hate it for that. But yeah,
Honestly,
it's
Six
definitely
of Crow has
a
some
lot.
good romances, so.
But yeah, so a nice way to end it. An inspiring or uplifting quote from both of us.
You want to go first on this one?
I can do. When it comes to relationships, think it through and go with the gut.
Yeah.
At the same time, listen to your brain. It's a balance of the two. It's not just about doing things because love. It's about loving yourself. And sorry, my throat made a noise. But yeah, when it comes to relationships, the first relationship you should consider is yourself.
I was gonna say that, yeah. At the end
Nice.
of the day.
I stole your quote.
You did. You did. In that case, that was Have a Cuppa. I have absolutely no more tea left.
Right, no, you gotta make a quote. Come on.
You took mine.
No, that
Yeah.
was my quote.
You took mine.
It's mine now. I licked it. It's fine.
But yeah, no. That was Have a Cuppa. We had some fun. Hopefully you finished your cup. We finished ours.
Yeah. And tune in with us.
Next month?
Yeah. What is next month? January, February, March. March, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys all go do you. Have a good one. And enjoy Valentine's Day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Tatty bye.